Adele Laurie Blue Adkins is an English singer and songwriter. After graduating in arts from the Brit School in 2006, Adele signed a record deal with XL Recordings. Her debut album, 19, was released in 2008 and spawned the UK top 5 singles Chasing Pavements and Make You Feel My Love. The album was certified 8 times platinum in the UK and triple platinum in the US. Adele was honored with the Brit Award for Rising Star as well as the Grammy Award for Best New Artist. Adele released her second studio album, 21, in 2011. It became the world's best-selling album of the 21st century, with sales of over 31 million copies. It was certified 17 times platinum in the UK and diamond in the US. According to Billboard, 21 is the top-performing album in the US chart history, topping the Billboard 200 for 24 weeks. She was the first female artist in the history of the Billboard Hot 100 to have 3 simultaneous top 10 singles as a lead artist, with Rolling in the Deep, Someone Like You, and Set Fire to the Rain, all of which also topped the chart. The album received a record-tying 6 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, and the Brit Award for British Album of the Year. The success of 21 earned Adele numerous mentions in the Guinness Book of Records. In 2012, Adele released Skyfall, a soundtrack single for the James Bond film of the same name, which won the Academy Award and the Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song. Her third studio album, 25, was released in 2015 and became the year's best-selling album, also breaking first-week sales records in the UK and US, where it is the only album to sell over 3 million copies in a week. 25 was her second album to be certified diamond in the US and earned her 5 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, and 4 Brit Awards, including British Album of the Year. The lead single, Hello, became the first song in the US to sell over 1 million digital copies within a week of its release. Her fourth studio album 30, which contains the chart-topping single Easy on Me, was released in 2021 and became the year's best-selling album worldwide including US and UK. 30 won the 2022 Brit Award for British Album of the Year. Adele is one of the world's best-selling music artists, with sales of over 120 million records. Her accolades include 15 Grammy Awards, 12 Brit Awards, an Academy Award, and a Primetime Emmy Award. In 2011, 2012, and 2016, Billboard named her Artist of the Year. At the 2012 and 2016 Ivor Novello Awards, Adele was named Songwriter of the Year by the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors. In 2012, she was listed at number 5 on VH1's 100 Greatest Women in Music. Time magazine named her one of the most influential people in the world in 2012, 2016, and 2022. She was appointed a MBE at the 2013 Queen's Birthday Honours for services to music. Her third tour saw her break attendance records globally, including in the UK, Australia, and the US, and her album 21 has been listed in Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. Early life and education. Adele Laurie Blue Adkins was born on May 5, 1988 in the Tottenham district of London, to an English mother, Penny Adkins, and a Welsh father, Mark Evans. Evans left when Adele was 2, and she was brought up by her mother. She began singing at age 4 and asserts that she became obsessed with voices. In 1997, 9-year-old Adele and her mother, who by then had found work as a furniture maker and an adult learning activities organizer, relocated to Brighton on the south coast of England. In 1999, she and her mother moved back to London, first to Brixton, then to the neighbouring district of West Norwood in South London, which is the subject of her first song Hometown Glory. She spent much of her youth in Brockwell Park where she would play the guitar and sing to friends, which she recalled in her 2015 song Million Years Ago. She stated, "It has quite monumental moments of my life that I've spent there, and I drove past it and I just literally burst into tears. I really missed it." Adele graduated from the Brit School for Performing Arts and Technology in Croydon in May 2006, where she was a classmate of Leona Lewis and Jessie J. Adele credits the school with nurturing her talent even though, at the time, she was more interested in going into artists and repertoire and hoped to launch other people's careers. Career 2006-2010, Career Beginnings and I-19/I. None. 2011-2014, I-21/I, Worldwide Recognition and Hiatus. None. 2015-2017, I-25/I and I Adele Live 2016/I. None. 2018-present, I-30/I. None. Artistry. Influences and favorite musicians. Adele has cited the Spice Girls as a major influence in regard to her love and passion for music, stating that they made me what I am today. During childhood, she impersonated the Spice Girls at dinner parties. She says she was heartbroken when her favorite Spice Girls member, Jerry Halliwell aka Ginger Spice, departed from the group. Lauryn Hill is also one of her major influences. In a 2011 interview, Adele deemed Hill's record The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as her favorite album, while also stating, "I was analyzing the record for about a month at the age of 8, I was constantly wondering when I would be that passionate about something, to write a record about it, even though I didn't know I was going to make a record when I was older," while also thanking Hill for existing in a penned letter, that she dedicated in honor of the 20th anniversary of Hill's album. Growing up she also listened to Sinead O'Connor, The Cranberries, Bob Marley, The Cure, Dusty Springfield, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Celine Dion, Jeff Buckley, and Annie Lennox. Gabrielle was an early influence, whom Adele has admired since age 5. During Adele's school years, her mother made her an eye patch with sequins which she used to perform as the Hackney-born star in a school talent contest. After moving to South London, she became interested in R&B acts such as Aaliyah, Destiny's Child, Mary J. Blige, and Alicia Keys. Adele has stated that one of the most defining moments in her life was when she saw Pink perform at Brixton Academy in London. She says, "It was the Misunderstood record, so I was about 13 or 14. I had never heard, being in the room, someone sing like that live. I remember sort of feeling like I was in a wind tunnel, her voice just hitting me. It was incredible." In 2002, 14-year-old Adele discovered Etta James and Ella Fitzgerald as she stumbled on the artist's CDs in the jazz section of her local music store. She was struck by their appearance on the album covers. Adele states she then started listening to Etta James every night for an hour, and in the process was getting to know my own voice. She has credited Amy Winehouse and her 2003 album Frank with inspiring her to take up the guitar, saying, "If it wasn't for Amy and Frank, 100% I wouldn't have picked up a guitar, I wouldn't have written Daydreamer or Hometown, and I wrote Someone Like You on the guitar too." She has also expressed admiration for Lana Del Rey, Grimes, Chvrches, FKA Twigs, Alabama Shakes, Kanye West, Rihanna, Britney Spears, Frank Ocean, Queen, and Stevie Nicks. In 2017, she described Beyoncé as a particular inspiration, calling her artist of my life, and added, "The other artists who mean that much to me are all dead." Adele cited Madonna's 1998 album Ray of Light as a chief inspiration for her album 25. She stated that the release of 25 and her own comeback was inspired by the enigmatic Kate Bush, who in 2014 made a comeback to the stage 35 years after her last live shows from her only tour in 1979. Adele mentioned that Max Martin's work on Taylor Swift's I Knew You Were Trouble was the inspiration behind her song Send My Love, saying, "I was like, who did this? I knew it was Taylor, and I've always loved her, but this is a totally other side, like, I want to know who brought that out in her. I was unaware that I knew who Max Martin was. I googled him, and I was like, he's literally written every massive soundtrack of my life. So I got my management to reach out. They came to London, and I took my guitar along and was like, I've got this riff, and then Send My Love happened really quickly." Musical style. Adele's debut album, 19, is of the soul genre, with lyrics addressing heartbreak and relationship. Her success occurred simultaneously with several other British female soul singers, with the British press dubbing her a new Amy Winehouse. This was described as a third British musical invasion of the US. However, Adele called the comparisons between her and other female soul singers lazy, noting we're a gender, not a genre. AllMusic wrote that Adele is simply too magical to compare her to anyone. Her second album, 21, shares the folk and soul influences of her debut album, but was further inspired by American country and Southern blues music to which she had been exposed during her 2008-09 tour An Evening with Adele in North America. Conceived in the aftermath of Adele's breakup with a partner, the album typifies the near-dormant tradition of the confessional singer-songwriter in its exploration of heartbreak, self-examination, and forgiveness. Having referred to 21 as a breakup record, Adele labeled her third studio album, 25, a make-up record, adding it is about making up for lost time. Making up for everything I ever did and never did. Her yearning for her old self, her nostalgia and melancholy about the passage of time, is a feature of 25, with Adele stating, "I've had a lot of regrets since I turned 25. And sadness hits me in different ways than it used to. There's a lot of things I don't think I'll ever get round to doing." Voice. Adele is a mezzo-soprano, with a range spanning from B2 to C6. However, Classic FM states she is often mistaken for a contralto due to the application of a tense chest mix to reach the lower notes, while also noting that her voice becomes its clearest as she ascends the register, particularly from C4 to C5. Rolling Stone reported that following throat surgery her voice had become palpably bigger and purer toned, and that she had added a further 4 notes to the top of her range. Initially, critics suggested that her vocals were more developed and intriguing than her songwriter, a sentiment with which Adele agreed. She has stated, "I taught myself how to sing by listening to Ella Fitzgerald for acrobatics and scales, Etta James for passion and Roberta Flack for control." Adele's singing has received acclaim from music critics. In a review of 19, The Observer stated, "The way she stretched the vowels, her wonderful soulful phrasing, the sheer unadulterated pleasure of her voice, stood out all the more, little doubt that she's a rare singer." BBC Music wrote, "Her melodies exude warmth, her singing is occasionally stunning and she has tracks that make Lily Allen and Kate Nash sound every bit as ordinary as they are." Also in 2008, Sylvia Patterson of The Guardian wrote, "Of all the gobby new girls, only Adele's bewitching singing voice has the enigmatic quality which causes tears of involuntary emotion to splash down your face in the way Eva Cassidy's did before her." For their reviews of 21, the New York Times chief music critic John Perrells commended Adele's emotive timbre, likening her to Dusty Springfield, Petula Clark, and Annie Lennox, can seethe, sob, rasp, swoop, lilt and belt, in ways that draw more attention to the song than to the singer. Ryan Reed of Paste magazine regarded her voice as a raspy, aged beyond its years thing of full-blooded beauty, while MSN Music's Tom Townsend called her the finest singer of generation. Adele has also been dubbed a vocal goddess. Personal life. In 2011, Adele began a relationship with charity entrepreneur Simon Konecki. Their son was born on October 19, 2012. On the topic of becoming a parent, Adele said she felt like I was truly living. I had a purpose, where before I didn't. Adele and Konecki brought a privacy case against a UK-based photo agency that published intrusive paparazzi images of their son taken during family outings in 2013. Lawyers working on their behalf accepted damages from the company in July 2014. Adele has also opened up about suffering from postnatal depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. In early 2017, tabloids started speculating that Adele and Konecki had secretly married when they were spotted wearing matching rings on their ring fingers. During her acceptance speech at the 59th Annual Grammy Awards for Album of the Year, Adele seemed to have confirmed these reports by referring to Konecki as "my husband" when thanking him. She repeated this in March 2017, telling the audience at a concert in Brisbane, Australia, "I'm married now." However, in a 2021 interview with British Vogue, she revealed that they actually married in 2018, and separated the same year. During this time, Adele became a stay-at-home mother. In April 2019, Adele's representatives confirmed the separation via Associated Press, and affirmed that she and Konecki would continue to raise their son together. On September 13, 2019, it was reported that Adele had filed for divorce from Konecki in the U.S. Their divorce was finalized on March 4, 2021. In 2021, Adele entered a relationship with American sports agent Rich Paul. Politically, she is a supporter of the Labour Party, saying in 2011 that she was a Labour girl through and through, and in the same interview was critical of the Conservative Party. Despite this declared political alignment, Adele received backlash for her comments on paying taxes during a 2011 interview with Q magazine. She said, "I use the NHS, I can't use public transport anymore, doing what I do, I went to state school, I'm mortified to have to pay 50%. Trains are always late, most state schools are shit and I've gotta give you like 4 million quid, are you having a laugh? When I got my tax bill in from 19 I was ready to go and buy a gun and randomly open fire." Born in the North London district of Tottenham, Adele supports local football club Tottenham Hotspur. In 2015, Adele said, "I'm a feminist, I believe that everyone should be treated the same, including race and sexuality." Supportive of the LGBT community, on June 12, 2016, an emotional Adele dedicated her show in Antwerp, Belgium, to the victims of the mass shooting at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, United States, earlier that day, adding, "The LGBTQ community, they're like my soulmates since I was really young, so I'm very moved by it." In April 2018, it was widely reported that Adele had become an ordained minister in order to officiate at close friend comedian Alan Carr's wedding to Paul Drayton, something which Adele herself subsequently confirmed. The wedding, held in January 2018, took place in the garden of her house in Los Angeles, California. Adele's close friends include Nicole Richie, Jennifer Lawrence, Cameron Diaz, Emma Stone, Laura Dockrill, Lauren and Aaron Paul, James Corden, and Elton John, among others. Drake called Adele one of best friends in the world. Wealth. In 2012, Adele topped the list of richest young musicians under 30 in the UK, included on the Sunday Times Rich list. In July 2012, she was listed at number 6 in Forbes' list of the world's highest-paid celebrities under the age of 30, having earned £23 million between May 2011 and May 2012. For 6 consecutive years, from 2013 to 2018, Adele topped the list of richest young musicians under 30 in the UK and Ireland as part of the Sunday Times annual Rich list. In 2015, Adele said she declined all sorts of lucrative endorsement offers out of personal choice. In 2015, she reported paying £4 million tax in the UK. In July 2016, Adele was ranked number 9 on the Forbes list of the 100 highest paid celebrities in the world. In November 2016 and November 2017, she was in second place on the Forbes list of the world's highest paid women in music, earning $80.5 million and $69 million, respectively. The Sunday Times Rich list valued her wealth at £125 million in 2017, and she was ranked the 19th UK's richest musician overall whilst being the only woman in the top 20. Adele owns and operates two companies, Melted Stone Ltd and Melted Stone Publishing. In 2017, she earned $11.2 million in royalties from record sales, after taxes, according to official documents from her companies, without any new album release at the time, and whilst spending her time off. On the 2019 Sunday Times Rich list, Adele was valued at £150 million as the 22nd richest musician in the UK, despite not having toured since 2017. In 2012, Adele and then-partner Konecki purchased a $3.4 million Art Deco villa in Port Slade, on the outskirts of Brighton and Hove, which she later sold for $3.7 million in 2016. That same year, she bought two houses built side by side in Kensington for $7.7 million and $7.3 million, respectively, with the intention of combining them. Adele also bought a home for her mother in West London for around $817,000. In 2013, she temporarily rented Paul McCartney's 12,000-square-foot former mansion for an undisclosed price. In 2015, Adele purchased a $5.2 million Mediterranean-style vacation mansion in Malibu, California, and sold it in 2017 for less than its original purchase price, $4.8 million. She envisioned buying several properties on the same street in a Beverly Hills gated community, beginning with the first home purchased for $9.5 million from Don Mischer in 2016. During her Madison Square Garden tour in September 2016, Adele rented NBA player Darren Williams' Tribeca apartment for 3 weeks at a monthly rent of $60,000. In 2017, she and Konecki purchased a $5.3 million Tudor mansion called Ridge Hill Manor, located in the English countryside on the outskirts of East Grinstead. In 2019 and 2021, Adele bought two more Beverly Hills mansions for $10.65 million and $10 million, respectively. The latter was purchased from Richie and her husband, Joel Madden. In February 2022, it was reported she bought Sylvester Stallone's 21,000-square-foot former mansion in Beverly Park, Los Angeles, for $58 million. Philanthropy. Adele has performed in numerous charity concerts throughout her career. In 2007 and 2008, she performed at the Little Noise sessions held at London's Union Chapel, with proceeds from the concerts donated to MenCap, which works with people with learning disabilities. In July and November 2008, Adele performed at the Keep a Child Alive Black Ball in London and New York City respectively. On September 17, 2009, she performed at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, for the VH1 Divas event, a concert to raise money for the Save the Music Foundation charity. On December 6, Adele opened with a 40-minute set at John Mayer's second annual holiday charity review held at the Nokia Theatre in Los Angeles. In 2011, Adele gave a free concert for Pride London, a registered charity which arranges LGBT events in London. The same year, Adele took part in the UK charity telethon Comic Relief for Red Nose Day 2011, performing Someone Like You. Adele has been a major contributor to Music Cares, a charity organization founded by the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences for musicians in need. In February 2009, Adele performed at the 2009 Music Cares charity concert in Los Angeles. In 2011 and 2012, Adele donated autographed items for auctions to support Music Cares. Adele required all backstage visitors to the North American leg of her Adele Live tour to donate a minimum charitable contribution of $20 for the UK charity SANS, an organization dedicated to supporting anyone affected by the death of a baby and promoting research to reduce the loss of babies' lives. On June 15, 2017, Adele attended a vigil in West London for the victims of the Grenfell Tower fire where, keeping a low profile, she was only spotted by a handful of fans. 4 days later she appeared at Chelsea Fire Station and brought cakes for the firefighters. Station manager Ben King stated she came up to the mess and had a cup of tea with the watch, and then she joined us for the minute's silence. Paying tribute to the victims at her first Wembley show on June 28, Adele encouraged fans to donate money to help the victims of the blaze rather than waste the money on overpriced wine. Impact. Adele has been referred to as the Queen of Hearts by publications such as Vogue and Vanity Fair, while the Seattle Post-Intelligencer has called her Queen of Soul for her early success as a soul singer-songwriter. In 2014, Adele was already being regarded as a British cultural icon, with young adults from abroad naming her among a group of people whom they most associated with UK culture, which included William Shakespeare, Queen Elizabeth II, David Beckham, J.K. Rowling, The Beatles, Charlie Chaplin, and Elton John. Richard Russell, the founder of record label XL Recordings, complimented Adele that she had the potential to change the way women were seen in the music industry by focusing on music rather than sexuality. The New Yorker called her the most popular living soul singer in the world at 27 years old. Writing for Vulture, Gillian Mapes opined that Adele is among the first plus-size female cultural icons to reach the highest echelons of commercial success without having to make herself the butt of fat jokes along the way. Time journalist Sam Lansky described her as a voice for every generation and further stated that Adele bridges pop music's past and its future. Lansky wrote that Adele, by choosing to sound like the past, goes in an opposite direction in mainstream music when her contemporaries try to sound simultaneously like each other and follow trends. Billboard credited Adele for reviving the music industry in 2011, the year of 21's release, and wrote, "She was a unique presence not only in 2011, but in all of 21st century pop. A preternaturally gifted singer and songwriter with a leave-it-all-on-the-floor approach to recording and performing, and also an earthy, relatable, and strangely unassuming personality both on and off the stage." Junkie and Consequence of Sound credited her for revitalizing pop music and heralding a new era of relatable pop due to the critical and commercial success of 21. In an article about how music from 2011 defined pop music, Junkie also credited Adele for reviving the breakup ballad music, paving the way for young artists like Olivia Rodrigo to utilize some elements of pop ballads that she did into their own music. In a 2021 article from the Daily Telegraph, James Hall wrote that a new Adele album isn't just a release, it's a global cultural event. Rolling Stone writers observed that she has written more modern pop standards than anyone else in her generation, each single becoming an instant classic. Consequence of Sound ranked Adele at number 34 on its list of the 100 greatest singers of all time, describing her voice as athletic and authentic and an unapologetic powerhouse with a knack for tone and an ability to imbue her performances with genuine emotion. In 2019, Insider listed her among the top artists of the decade, and wrote, "Her artistry and style broke through in a time of ultra club happy pop music, and paved the way for other artists to break the mold. In 2022, she has been ranked number 8 on Yardbarker's The Greatest Singing Voices of All Time list. Adele and her work have influenced numerous recording artists, including Beyoncé, Lauren Daigle, Billie Eilish, Rebecca Ferguson, Jess Glynn, Conan Gray, Freya Ridings, Sigrid, Sam Smith, and Tom Walker. Accolades and achievements. Adele has sold more than 120 million records worldwide, making her one of the world's best-selling music artists. She is one of the artists who bring the most revenue to the music industry per day. At the 51st Annual Grammy Awards in 2009, 21-year-old Adele won awards in the categories of Best New Artist and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. She was also nominated in the categories of Record of the Year and Song of the Year. The success of her debut album 19 saw Adele nominated for 3 Brit Awards in the categories of British Female Solo Artist, British Single of the Year and British Breakthrough Act. Then British Prime Minister Gordon Brown sent a thank you letter to Adele that stated, with the troubles that the country's in financially, you're a light at the end of the tunnel. Adele's second album, 21, earned her a record-tying 6 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, 2 Brit Awards, including British Album of the Year. Adele was the second artist and first female, preceded by Christopher Cross, to have won all 4 of the General Field Awards throughout her career. The success of the album saw her receive numerous mentions in the Guinness Book of World Records. With 21 non-consecutive weeks at number 1 in the US, Adele broke the record for the longest number 1 album by a woman in Billboard history, beating the record formerly held by Whitney Houston's soundtrack The Bodyguard. 21 spent its 23rd week at number 1 in March 2012, making it the longest-running album at number 1 since 1985, and it became the 4th best-selling album of the past 10 years in the US. The best-selling album in the UK of the 21st century, and the best-selling album by a female in UK chart history, 21 is also the second best-selling album in the UK of all time. 21 was her first album certified diamond in the US. On March 6, 21 reached 30 non-consecutive weeks at number 1 on the Australian ARIA chart, making it the longest-running number 1 album in Australia in the 21st century, and the second longest-running number 1 ever. In May 2011, Team Adele was ranked number 1 on The Guardian's Music Power 100 list, the 100 most influential people in the music industry. In February 2012, Adele was listed at number 5 on VH1's 100 Greatest Women in Music. In April 2012, Time magazine named Adele one of the 100 most influential people in the world. People named her one of 2012 most beautiful at every age. On April 30, 2012, a tribute to Adele was held at New York City's Poisson Rouge called Broadway Sings Adele, starring various Broadway actors such as Matt Doyle. In the week ending March 3, 2012, Adele became the first solo female artist to have 3 singles in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 at the same time, with Rolling in the Deep, Someone Like You, and Set Fire to the Rain, as well as the first female artist to have 2 albums in the top 5 of the Billboard 200 and 2 singles in the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously. Adele topped the 2012 Sunday Times Rich list of musicians in the UK under 30, and made the top 10 of Billboard magazine's top 40 money makers. Billboard also announced the same day that Adele's Rolling in the Deep is the biggest crossover hit of the past 25 years, topping pop, and adult contemporary charts, and that Adele is one of 4 female artists to have an album chart at number 1 for more than 13 weeks. At the 2012 Ivor Novello Awards in May, Adele was named Songwriter of the Year, and Rolling in the Deep won the award for Most Performed Work of 2011. At the 2012 BMI Awards held in London in October, Adele won Song of the Year in recognition of the song being the most played on US television and radio in 2011. In 2013, Adele won the Academy Award for Best Original Song for the James Bond theme Skyfall. This is the first James Bond song to win and the fifth to be nominated after For Your Eyes Only, Nobody Does It Better, Live, and Let Die, and The Look of Love. Skyfall won the Brit Award for Best British Single at the 33rd Brit Awards. In June 2013, Adele was appointed a MBE in the Queen's Birthday Honours List for services to music, and she received the award from Prince Charles at Buckingham Palace on December 19, 2013. In February 2013 she was named one of the 100 most powerful women in the UK by Woman's Hour on BBC Radio 4. Released in 2015, Adele's third album, 25, became the year's best-selling album and broke first-week sales records in a number of markets, including the UK and the US. 25 was her second album to be certified Diamond in the US and earned her 5 Grammy Awards, including her second Grammy Award for Album of the Year, and 4 Brit Awards, including her second Brit Award for British Album. Adele became the only artist in history to, on 2 separate occasions, win the 3 general categories Grammys in the same ceremony. With 15 awards from 18 nominations, Adele won more Grammys than any other female who was born outside the US. Adele's 7 weeks at the top of the UK albums chart took her total to 31 weeks at number 1 in the UK with her 3 albums, surpassing Madonna's previous record of most weeks at number 1 for a female act in the UK. The lead single, Hello, became the first song in the US to sell over 1 million digital copies within a week of its release. At the 2016 Ivor Novello Awards, Adele was named Songwriter of the Year for the second time by the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors. In April 2016 she appeared for the second time on the Time 100 list of the world's most influential people. Adele was inducted into the Royal Albert Hall's Walk of Fame in 2018, making her one of the first 11 recipients of a star on the walk. Despite releasing just 2 albums in the decade, at 36 weeks she had the second most weeks at number 1 in the UK album charts in the 2010s, 5 weeks behind Ed Sheeran. In December 2019, Israel's largest TV and radio stations named her Singer of the 2010s. In 2021, Adele was named the UK's best-selling female album artist of the 21st century, based on official charts company data. In May 2022, Time magazine named her for the 3rd time among the 100 most influential people in the world in the Icons category. As Adele has won Emmy, Grammy, and Oscar awards, it makes her a Tony Award away from achieving EGOT status as of 2022. Discography: 19, 21, 25, 30. Filmography: concert tours and residencies. Headlining concerts: An Evening with Adele, Adele Live, Adele Live 2016. Residency: Weekends with Adele.